All right, welcome back. Just wanted to hop on here and talk about a few things. I had to take yesterday off, actually. I'm starting to realize that it's better for my health. It's better for me mentally to sort of break away from this dog culture because I hate it. And I don't want to spend time every day hating something. It's just not good for your mind and body. Not good for your hormones or your moods. I don't want this dog culture to take years off of my life, even though I'm pretty sure it already has. So I took yesterday off, but I wanted to hop on here and chop it up with everybody for a while. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this live stream. Mutt Rut, Alien Drone Services, Four-Legged Plague, Yusuf. We got AJ, Cecilia, GT Buster, Julie. What is it? Groxology. Groxology. All right. Tom. Hey, this is a very serious topic here. Yulin Dog Meat Festival. Now, if I'm not mistaken, it's going on right now. It's underway as I speak. I could be mistaken about this. It's hard to find exactly when this thing starts. But if I'm not mistaken, it started June 21st of this year. June 21st this year is when it started. So it should be underway as I speak. And I just wanted to voice my full support for the Yulin Dog Meat Festival. But before I get into that, I just wanted to sort of touch on something else that it looks like a lot of people try to tiptoe around. And if you're tiptoeing around this, that's not doing anybody any good. And that is this dog lover culture actually contributing to the reduction of the population of white America and, if I'm not mistaken, much of whites worldwide. It is almost exclusively the result of this dog lover culture. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of people avoid talking about it. They tiptoe around it because they think it will make them sound racist. To talk about how it's a bad thing when your population declines. Couldn't be further from the truth. And it really highlights the fact that there is this propaganda campaign out here that projects the idea that any and everything is racist. That's racist, that's racist. Even when you say, hey, our population is decreasing. Oh, that's racist. Got to get over that. People should not have to remind you when something like this is not racist. You know, it's sad when people don't have critical thinking skills. I want people to be outraged. I want white people to come across this information, be outraged, and take up arms and fight against the presence of dogs in this country and all around the world. I saw this tweet, and when I read this tweet, I thought to myself, that is exactly the mentality that is causing the decline of their population. Look at the very top of this tweet, and you can see how they captioned it. This just totally infuriated me. So adorable. And they put a little heart here. And they said, our babies love water as well. This culture of referring to dogs as babies, our babies, that is so offensive and degrading. You could not insult yourself any more than this. To refer to dogs by a title, using a title that's only reserved for our actual biological babies. And I don't understand how it doesn't strike them immediately when they make statements like this. Like, hey, that's offensive. That's inappropriate. It's immoral. And this is actually a GIF image of a bunch of mutts running around in water. This mentality has got to go. Stop referring to dogs as babies. You have to be out of your mind to push this disgusting, sick, inhumane narrative. Anytime you catch people doing this, you need to put them in check immediately. Immediately. And I'm going to share a link to this article. I actually think it may be a blog titled, "When Did We Start Replacing Babies with Dogs?" Those babies in strollers are actually dogs. Fertility rates crashing, but pet sales are booming. And, I would love to hear anybody who wants to argue that this has nothing to do with the decline of the white population. Now, what you notice with this article is that the author, the writer, actually tiptoes around the facts. Here, let me share this article real quick. Here's the article written by Joseph Surwak. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but look at what he wrote. A new Michigan war protest is dubbed "No Dogs Left Behind," honoring the animals and humans abandoned when U.S. forces fled Afghanistan. Look at what he wrote. Birth rates for babies are at a record low, while there is new demand for dogs. Strollers and playpens developed for babies are now back with dog versions, as one poll shows 78% of Americans consider dogs to be family. Nearly 80%. Now let's be clear. When he says birth rates for babies are at an all-time record low, he is only talking about the white American population, but he was afraid to say white America because he feels like that would make him sound racist. But the fact is that the birth rate for other races is not at an all-time low. Other groups' population is not declining. If you don't face this problem head on and deal with it for exactly what it is, you'll never be able to fix it. In fact, much of the population won't even be aware what the cause is. And it's coming from this tiptoeing around, oh, I don't want to say white America, let me just say America. Stop it. It says dogs are taking the place of babies and children. Listen, man. That is only true for white America. You have to be, I'm talking to everybody who wants to touch on this. You can really call it a pandemic where white American population is declining. You have to be specific because other groups' population is not declining. And I welcome anyone who disagrees and believes that this does not contribute to the decline in white America. And he's talking about Michigan, so he's talking about America. It may seem harmless. It may seem like, oh, it's just cute and people having fun. It's so harmless to call them babies and replace babies with dogs. Let's have dogs instead of kids. You may look at it as some type of harmless fad. It's killing you. It's literally exterminating your population. That's why I said you cannot be involved in something this backwards and sick and not have it have a major impact on you in some way. We need to change our mentality. We need to look at dogs, and I'm talking about everybody, I'm not just talking about white America. We need to view dogs as no more important than chickens. We need to view dogs as if they are not any more important than cows, turkeys, and other farm animals that are slaughtered on a regular basis for food. Nobody thinks twice about chickens being slaughtered when they see a KFC commercial. Nobody thinks to themselves, oh, this is not right. When you see a chicken farm, nobody thinks to themselves, this is immoral. Where's your humanity? When you see pork slaughterhouses, nobody associates this with being immoral or inhumane. Nobody thinks about it at all. You simply say, oh, where's my piece? Where's the bacon? When it comes to cows, everybody loves steak. When you see a commercial for a ribeye, nobody thinks to themselves, oh, those poor cows. Many of these farm animals go through more suffering than many of the dogs go through in the countries that slaughter and eat dogs. Quite often, the dogs die a painful, instantaneous death. And images like this does not bother anyone. Anyone. You don't care. So in that same spirit, don't complain when you see dogs being rounded up. Don't label this as immoral. I want to give a shout out to all countries who consume dogs. Now, I don't consume dogs or any other type of animal. I'm a vegan. But if you're going to eat animals, I would prefer you eat dogs. Spare the other animals, the other harmless animals that don't bother anyone, that don't make obnoxious sounds. Spare those other animals that are not destroying our air and water, not spreading diseases throughout the population. Instead, why don't you eat dogs? Dogs are not special. There's nothing special about a stupid mutt. As a matter of fact, all other animals are more special than dogs because the other animals are harmless. In particular, I want to shout out to the Yulin Dog Meat Festival because this is sort of a celebration of treating dogs the same way other people all across the world treat other animals. the Yulin Dog Meat Festival and all other countries that eat dog meat, they represent justice. They represent true equality on this earth. You have all these other different countries that slaughter all other animals. It's not just chickens, turkeys, cows, and pigs. They kill and eat deer, elk, rabbits, squirrel, frogs. People kill all types of animals. To pretend as if dogs are anything special is illogical. It makes no sense. You cannot make that argument. Just because you domesticate them and keep them as pets does not make them any more special than other animals. And again, other animals are far more special than dogs. They're not a nuisance. Those other animals don't have a culture of attacking infants, toddlers, children. Only dogs do that. So when people in these different countries consume dogs, they are doing a great service to the world. If you're going to eat a particular animal, why don't you eat the only ones that have a culture of attacking babies and children? That would be smart. That would be intelligent. And keep in mind, there are several countries who eat dog meat on a regular basis. And I'm going to acknowledge those countries on this video. This is such a beautiful thing. The Yulin Dog Meat Festival should last year-round. There should be an endless, a non-stop celebration of the consumption of dog meat. Every dog eaten is a child saved from an attack. Every dog eaten is a baby, an infant saved from an attack. These are not babies. Our babies are our babies. That's a fact. You don't like it? Tough. Deal with it. Now, I have a couple of lists that I want to deal with. According to this article, based on their study, the top 10 worst countries for dog ownerships. Matter of fact, I found a real good website. Oh boy, brace yourselves for this. I found a real good website that shares some information on this subject. Where is it? Where are we at? Let me let these load here. My, oh my. Here we go right here. Let me share my screen. And I'm going to share a link to this article titled The 51 Most and Least Dog-Friendly Countries 2022. All right, you scroll down. Look at this. Now you see this list here? Okay. They're separated by number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at this column right here, number 8. Number 8 is there significant dog meat consumption? If there's a green dog, it means no, there's not a significant dog meat consumption. If you see this, the knife and fork, then yes, a significant number of people in the country eat dogs. And when you scroll down, you see those countries. And let me give a big shout out to those countries. They have my full support. Vietnam, China, Indonesia, Nigeria, the Philippines, South Korea. Big shout out to those countries. You are doing a great service to the world. What you are doing is protecting our youth. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Now look at 5, 6, and 7. 5, 6, and 7 is, 5 is, does the country have laws on dog rights? They wrote animal rights, but we know they mean dogs. Number 6, has animal sentience been formally recognized? And number 7, is it a low-risk rabies country? Check mark for yes and X for no. And as you can see, the further down you go, and hey, shout out to Poland. You know, it's just a low-risk rabies. No reason to real shout them out. And matter of fact, number 7 is irrelevant. Don't even pay number 7 any attention. 5 and 6 are the most important. Does the country have laws on animal rights, dog rights, and has dog sentience been formally recognized? Shout out to those countries who said no. They did not recognize dog sentience. That is Canada, Uruguay, Argentina, Japan. Was it Russia? They've had a number of dog cullings in Russia. So shout out to them for exterminating these child killers, for exterminating these disease spreaders, exterminating the only creatures on earth that have a culture of attacking our youth. Thank you. Malaysia, India, Colombia, Thailand. And of course, the further down the list you go, you'll see an X on all 3. Vietnam, China, Azerbaijan, I don't even know how to pronounce this, Iran, Belarus. Right? Shout out to these countries. Algeria, Ethiopia, Egypt, South Korea, Morocco. Oh yeah, look at the goodies here. Look at all that. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Especially these countries down here. You are doing such a service to the world. Now what's number 1, 2, 3, and 4? Animal protection, API companion, animals grade, pet-friendly hotels per million population, number of vets per million population. So it's basically how much of a dog lover country you are. And shout out to all those countries with a D and lower. Shout out to you. You are the best. You are the best. All the criticism that the other parts of the world want to wage against you, just understand there's a population of people who appreciate what you're doing, the leaders of your country. In this regard, you're doing something that the rest of the world should do. Don't waste our money on no dog hotel, on no dog protection laws. We have no business protecting the only creatures that attack us on a regular basis, a daily basis. It is only dogs. You remove dogs from the planet, you basically don't have to deal with being attacked by animals. You essentially remove that risk. You know, you have these people who, and yeah, let me show y'all this list. Oh, maybe y'all can see this. Top 15 countries for dog ownership. Shame. Shame on these countries. This is also top 15 countries for babies and kids being mutilated. Is it not? United States, Netherlands, Denmark, and also the countries on this list are also the top countries where their population is decreasing. Do the math, connect the dots. Whenever you talk about the countries that are the biggest dog lovers, you're also talking about the countries where their population is declining. You proud of that? You telling me you're proud of that? And the only way to reverse this is to put your children above dogs. And that's not what they do. They put dogs above humans. And notice, look at this list. Based on their study, the top 10 worst countries for dog ownership these are the most dog-hating countries. But notice, all of these countries, their population is increasing. So what's the price that you have to pay for being a dog nutter country? The price is that you're going to go extinct. And hey, if you're comfortable with that, that's on you. You're willing to wipe out your own population for dogs, that's on you. And I bet you anything, zoonotic diseases run rampant in the top 15 countries for dog ownership. At least here in America, it's very bad. Was it like 4 or 5 new zoonotic diseases every year? Many of which we don't even know about. So don't buy into propaganda. I never buy into propaganda. I always examine things for myself. Every year, these dog lover organizations spread this rhetoric. They spread this propaganda that the countries who hate dogs or eat dogs, I won't say hate dogs, who consume dogs are somehow evil. Oh, that's so inhumane. No, your country is inhumane for supporting the existence of dogs, because you're also supporting the existence of zoonotic diseases, babies and kids being mutilated. Look at how much money the Yulin Dog Meat Festival brings. Do you know how many families are able to eat because of the dog meat consumption? This is business, just like any other business. And these are regular people, just like the people in these cow slaughterhouses, pork slaughterhouses. The people who actually kill the cows, chickens, and pigs are regular, everyday people who are earning a living because of what they are doing. These people are no different. And I support them because they're supporting their family. They're supporting their families. They're feeding their children. And they're protecting their families at the same time, because they are reducing the dog population. Good for them. If you want to applaud the average everyday working American for doing honest work, I'm going to recognize these people as well. There's no difference between a bunch of dogs. There's no difference between a dog and any other animal. Yeah, dogs are worse than other animals. They're dumb. They're mentally and neurologically dysfunctional, impaired. That's why they're always getting filled with anxiety. That's why they're so angry and aggressive, attacking people for no reason, attacking targets that they know full well is harmless, attacking people who try to get away from them. They're worse than other animals. Other animals are not making obnoxious noises. They're not violating our person, getting up in our face. Other animals don't stink like dogs. They're not drooling all over the place like dogs. Dogs eating excrement, licking and drinking urine and vomit. They're nasty, disgusting. How can you not hate dogs when only dogs contaminate our planet, contaminate our water, contaminate the air we breathe, when only dogs launch routine attacks against humans? You want to call a man's best friend? Only dogs routinely launch attacks against kids and even infants, babies, newborns. That's how dumb, that's how disconnected dogs are from humans. Y'all want to talk about how they've adapted to humans and man's best friend, how they evolved alongside humans, yet they're still the only animals that literally have a culture of attacking human beings, and they prefer to attack children. Over 50% of all dog attack victims are children, and it varies between 50% and around 75%. Children, even though children make up some 17% of the population, dogs target children. We've seen more than one video. Y'all remember I just showed that new video where that pit bull was locked in on a child. There was 4 adults and 1 child there. That pit bull was locked in and was trying to attack that child. Y'all remember that other video where that mutt came from across the street? It ran right past 2 adults and latched on, attacked a toddler. How can you not hate animals that prefer to attack your children, you dummy? You can't even argue that what I support on this channel is immoral. You can't even argue that. And you cannot defend yourself when I charge you all with being immoral for supporting the existence of these good-for-nothing, disgusting, unsightly, child-killing mutants. And you actually want to call these things your babies. How sick and subhuman can you possibly get? There's simply no limit to how much of a primitive savage you are supporting the existence of these worthless, good-for-nothing mutants. That nature, that God, whatever you believe in, never intended to exist in the first place. Nature, God, is literally trying to wipe dogs off the face of the earth. And it is only human beings that is preventing nature, God, from killing all dogs on this planet. Nature would use human beings to wipe dogs off the face of the earth. If human beings were not so technologically advanced, we get knocked back to a stone age, a primitive state, we will start to kill dogs on sight because we won't be able to pamper them, to own them. You won't be able to feed them. And the only food that they eat is the food they steal from you or eating you. That is when our natural instinct will kick in. And dogs will be killed by human beings on sight. Whereas all other animals will leave us alone just like they leave us alone right now. It is so pathetic and disappointing that people don't see the true nature of dogs and see that dogs are our worst enemy. And that if you love and pamper the existence of dogs too much, it will literally cause your population to decline. When you love dogs so much and you celebrate dogs so much and you spend every day, you got these people who make Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts for the sole purpose of exalting dogs. When you give your energy on a daily basis to exalting dogs, it's going to have an effect on how you exist as a human being. You're not going to view your own biological children as desirable, as adorable. You're not going to. You give all that energy to dogs. So you're either not going to have children yourself, or if you have children, you're going to abuse them. You're going to neglect them for the dog. You're going to degrade them and tell them that the dog is their brother or sister. You're going to make them feel less important because you're going to sacrifice their life and well-being for the dog simply by having the dog in the home. You're going to indirectly tell your children that the dog is more important. That's exactly why you're sacrificing their safety for the dog. You're letting them know that the dog could attack you anytime it wants. And if it ever decides to attack you, you're just going to be mutilated or dead. And if that happens, oh well. But we're not getting rid of the dog for you. We're not getting rid of our dogs just so that it never attacks you. No. We want to give the dog a lifetime opportunity to attack you whenever it's good and ready. That is abuse. That is neglect. That is outright inhumane, savage, primitive, subhuman behavior. So there's always a price to pay when you embrace the presence of something that you, by nature, supposed to reject. And it's really crazy with us as humans being herbivores. We're not predators. This is supposed to be a natural instinct. Dogs are killers. Like other carnivores, they go crazy over blood. Right? That chemical in blood that makes them go crazy. Humans don't have that. The smell of guts, blood, carcass causes us to gag, become nauseous. So humans and dogs are the complete opposite. We could not be more different. Also note how our brains is the exact opposite of a dog's brain. Literally. The smallest portion of a dog's brain is his frontal lobe. That's the largest portion of our brains. That's why we can love and dogs can't. How many of y'all heard that story just surfaced not too long ago? Well, that man who was attacked by that dog, he ended up dying. He was like in critical condition. I reported on it on, I think, my most recent live stream. He was hospitalized. Well, that man died. That man in Texas. Here, let me share my screen here. Okay, what is this? All right, bear with me. I'm gonna have to refresh this. Any of y'all keeping up with the news? Dogs don't feel. What about that woman who was attacked by her own dogs? The dog would not stop attacking her. These things can't love. Whoa, sorry about that. What is this? Okay, that's some goofy video. Texas man dies a week after dogs mauled and started eating him alive. I remember this story. Before he died, he had both his legs amputated. Was attacked by 3 dogs. This is man's best friend. Huh? You don't hear that. Look at this. These countries around the world who eat dogs, these countries should be protected and exalted. Their right to eat these worthless mutants should be protected. But as you could guess, they've been rescuing dogs. Here's an article here. They've been rescuing these mutts this year. They stopped a van that was had like 300, 400 dogs in it. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Now here they're just going over the festival. Look at this. Shame on all those people over there in China, in Korea, or anywhere else over there in Asia where they have some type of dog meat festival, and they come over like a bunch of brainwashed dog nutter Westerners crying over a truck full of mutts. They see a truck full of dogs in cages headed to slaughter, and you come over and say a prayer. Oh, boo-hoo. Not the dogs. Yes, the dogs. Shame on you. I want these countries to know that there are people in the Western Hemisphere who has their back. Look at this dog meat right here. This looks like a deluxe meal. They got the spinach. It looked like spinach here, topping it off. Guy got some, vinegar in a ketchup bottle or whatever. They got the herbs. They got the spices going. Huh? Like 6 people have left comments. Oh, yeah. And as you could guess, they are degrading these people. Look what this guy said. Where is a suicide bomber when you need one? The only place you need a suicide bomber would be in a population of dogs. What are you talking about? Suicide bomber. The savage slopes never cease to disgust me. This is a pretty norm where they call these people savages. No, you're the savages. You who support their existence. That's savage. Because these people are not willing to embrace something that has a built-in instinct to attack their youth. And this is undeniable with dogs. It's an instinct. They're wired to attack our youth, babies included. There's no way to rationalize support of dogs. There's this one article, and I cannot seem to find it. A real good piece. I need to do a better job keeping track of these articles. And they've signed they've created all kinds of petitions, and they get millions of signatures. As you could imagine, millions of signatures all across the world. Some of these things are worldwide. Their support is pretty crazy. Man, okay, I cannot find this article. It's an excellent article. And what's going on? This was over there in the UK. I don't know how many people caught this. This surfaced, I think, today or yesterday. And I think it's in the UK. The Mirror, if I'm not mistaken, is based in the UK. Residents traumatized by spate of dog attacks, living in fear of their lives. Why would you support the existence that can have entire communities traumatized and afraid to go outside, afraid to let their kids go outside to play? You want to argue that it's somehow a moral thing to do to protect the existence of these things? At least make it make sense, dog lovers. You defending the presence of dogs doesn't even make sense. Residents on a street that has seen a series of violent dog attacks have warned that the situation is an accident waiting to happen. No, it's not an accident. If you know something is deadly and you decide to bring it around, that's not an accident. Somebody should be held liable. If somebody's dog attacks you, that person cannot say that they were not aware that the dog could do that. They can't say, oh, I didn't know the dog was capable of attacking anyone. They all know. So it's not an accident. It's not a mistake. Neighbors on a South Manchester street say their lives have been changed by the presence of two big, angry mutts. Residents claim the dogs are frequently left roaming, with a series of attacks reported in the area. Roaming, you mean like other animals roam? Other animals roam. Nobody's in danger. So if there are a population of people who specialize in cooking and eating animals that do this to communities, bravo. I had to take my hat off to any and all countries like that. It's believed that the dogs have killed at least 4 cats in the area and bitten at least 1 woman. And given their close proximity to a primary school, neighbors are terrified of what could come next. We have heard of more than one story where a dog went inside of a school and started attacking students. Shout out to Toxic Paw Print as well. And I need to stay mindful to not make the mistake of calling dogs predators. Predators, they kill for food to eat. Dogs kill for fun. They don't even eat the creatures that they kill. And if they do, it's just because dogs can always eat. They're not really hungry. They kill for sport. This is something that even dog lovers have admitted. They attack as a form of communication. You can't get any more dangerous than that. So if you specialize in eating and cooking animals like this, bravo. You are a very civilized, honorable nation. That's what you are. Don't listen to these people calling you savages and none of that nonsense. This is nothing but a bunch of savages trying to call you a savage. Here, let me share this article. Pretty good read. It's kind of lengthy. If you get a moment, please check that out. Who we got in here? Shout out to everybody in the room. Jupiter, Louise, Nut in the building, Kodiak, Jonathan Payne, Cecilia. Pretty good article. This is so sad. You know, before I leave this earth, I want to attend one of these festivals. I have to. That's one of my missions in life. Now, this is the Google search where I try to find some articles about dogs replacing children. It's pretty crazy stuff. What does this say? Y'all join me as I do a little research here. Having pets instead of kids should be considered a psychiatric disorder. Oh, bravo. The Federalist. Bravo. Oh, bravo. Look, I'm not all about criticizing people or media outlets. If you put out something like this, hey, hats off to you. It should be considered a psychiatric disorder. Absolutely. If you grew up with dogs, you know that something bizarre and sad often happens when a mother dog loses her puppies. All right? Oh, it's a very long article. Good. Your dog doesn't want to be your child. Listen to that. Stupid mutt don't even know that you view it as its child. Oh man, I'm gonna have to get into this. Look at this. It's hard work pretending dogs are humans. Yes, it is. I mean, if you're pretending, that's a bad sign in and of itself. Adults have no business playing make-believe. And that's all this dog lover culture is, especially this pet parent culture. A bunch of grown people pretending. The rise of fur babies. I'm convinced that psychology manuals 200 years from now will identify replacement baby syndrome as a diagnosable epidemic in my generation. Yep, we talked about that here. How the future generation gonna look back at us as an era full of lunatics, just like we look at generations before us. This sounds like an enlightened person here. For an unbelievable number of millennials, pets' original purpose to be shaggy companions and useful partners in work and housekeeping has been superseded by a role they were never intended to fulfill. Replacement child. Man, oh man. This is real simple stuff, man, that I'm trying to relay. People need to get on board or get out the way. It's simple as that. I'm going to share this article. Good for you, the Federalist. We're not alone out here. There are people out here who got good sense. Man, Here's another one. Your fur babies are not a good or healthy replacement. Good for you. But you know what? The dog lovers, many of them, they don't read at all. So they'll never stumble across these articles. Many of them, they're just not bright individuals. They don't read. All their information comes from news, media outlets. And that's why the media outlets are so pro-dog. Because they know that the dumbest people on earth, the dog nutters on earth, most of them don't read. So they push dogs like no tomorrow. This should be common sense. Dogs are good beasts, but still beasts. Man, what? This is excellent. Excellent work. I'm going to share this too. How about that? Here, let me see if I can tweet this. Good. We need more information like this. Okay, I can't tweet it. I'll just share it in the chat room. I need to do this more often. As I'm live, I need to share links more often. This is beautiful work. Dog lovers, I told y'all, their days are numbered. Fewer babies, more pets. Could dogs replace children for some couples? They do. Sad state we live in right now. So I find hope and inspiration in things like the Yulin Dog Meat Festival. I think I shared this one already before. The advantages of dogs replacing kids. Okay, so they support the idea. I'm guessing. Let's face it. There are some clear advantages to choosing dogs over babies. For a start, in the first year of their life, a dog is estimated. You see that? You see why I replaced the word pets with dogs? In the very next sentence, they made it clear that they were talking about dogs the whole time. In the first year of their life, a dog is estimated to cost you between $1,000 and $7,000. Compared to kids, that is between $10,000 and $50,000. Okay, so dogs are cheaper. Wow. Can you put a price on your lineage? Dogs are not going to carry your lineage. Boy, oh boy. So even the dog lovers who do read and write, they're still brain dead as all get up. No critical thinking skills. They don't use logic, common sense. They have no morals. Unreal. What a wacky world this dog nutter world is. One of the Insta dogs. Oh boy. Oh boy, look at this. This right here. This right here, look at this. A dog. This is supposed to be a child. This is supposed to be their baby. Instead, it's a dog. They're giving that unique energy of love to a dog. A creature that doesn't even receive it. How pathetic. Infuriating. The mutt is not worthy of such love. They don't deserve love or affection. Primarily because they don't even understand it. And you should feel dumb for wasting that type of energy on something that doesn't. The whole point in giving the energy of affection and love, the whole point is that someone receives it. Dogs literally can't. So are you that much of an airhead that you find pleasure in wasting that energy anyways. Again, if you're going to do that, give that love and affection to a stuffed animal, to something that can't attack and something that can't spread zoonotic diseases. But again, these dog lovers, these are not bright people. If you own a dog, if you're a dog lover, you cannot be a bright individual. It's impossible. I don't care how educated they come across. They might have good memory. That's all being educated is. Being able to remember a certain amount of information long enough to regurgitate it on a test or exam. And then you forget about it a year later. That's not intelligence. That's retaining information. That's memory. Stuff like this, dog ownership, that's a test of your intelligence and your morals. I said before, one of the reasons I'd never be a dog owner is because I would think to myself, man, this dog might attack somebody, might attack somebody's kid. I could not live the rest of my life knowing that I was responsible for some kid being mutilated or killed. On top of that, I could go to prison. This could ruin my life. I could have a really good job. This month, attack somebody's child. I go to prison. So not only am I locked up, but I lose my flipping job. A dog can ruin your life. So you cannot be a bright individual if you're a dog lover. It goes against your right to claim to be intelligent. It's as simple as that. That's irrefutable. What dogs replacing kids says about our changing views. This is a pro-dog article. Some people just like dogs more than kids. And you know what? That's more proof that you're just not bright individuals. That you are a bunch of people with very low morals. There is this couple that lives beneath me. I just want to give y'all a quick example of what I'm talking about, of how disconnected and inhumane these people are. These dog lovers that live beneath me. They can probably hear me talking right now. And guess what? I don't care. Some of you may have been in a situation like this. They have a baby down there. And it sounds like this baby is, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years old. There's a baby, a small baby down there, because I hear the baby crying all the time. The baby's always crying. Anytime that baby starts crying, I hear the parents down there yelling at this baby, telling this baby to shut up. Don't do this. Stop it. I mean, screaming at the top of their lungs at this crying baby. Now, people, growing up, my mother used to make me babysit all the time. Babysit my little brothers, my nieces, and stuff like that. I'd have to babysit. And they would always want me to babysit because the kids would never cry. Whenever a baby starts crying, I could always make a baby stop crying by simply picking them up, walking around with them, showing them attention, playing with them, having fun. If you give a baby positive, genuinely positive energy, they will usually stop crying. Kids usually cry because they can feel the negative energy in the atmosphere. So if you want a baby to stop crying, why do you only use negative reinforcement? Some of you may have a job like this, where management, they never use positive reinforcement. They never come by and say, you know what, you're doing a good job. Excellent work you did last week. We got this knocked out. We got that knocked out. Man, you're on fire. We appreciate what you do here. That's not what they usually do. A lot of companies, all they do is ridicule. You go above and beyond what's expected of you, they never acknowledge you for it. But as soon as you make one mistake, they want to act like it's the end of the world. That's easy to do. You got to be a lot more humane and mature to give somebody a pat on the back. That requires a level of humanity. And I've noticed that a lot of people who are dog lovers, they are very abusive to their kids. And they raise kids who turn out to hate kids as well. And that cycle just repeats itself over and over. So if dogs didn't exist, human beings would not have this outlet that allows them to display their inhumanity. They wouldn't have a way to destroy the next generation using the dog to abuse them. Now, granted, they might find some other way to do it. But if they were using a rabbit or a squirrel rather than a dog, at least we wouldn't have to deal with the physical attacks. Dogs are much more insulting because of the threat of an attack that they pose to your children. So you don't have to verbally say that you're not even as important as a dog. Simply owning the dog is your way of saying that. So the more dog meat festivals, the better. I want to take this moment to remove my hat, stand up, and salute not only the Yulin Dog Meat Festival, but I want to salute all the countries who are heavy consumers of dog meat. Right? Let's check out those countries one more time. If you missed the article, I've shared it in the chat room already. Where is that? Oh, yeah. I think it's right here. Is it this one? No, it's this one. I want to take off my hat and salute these countries. Vietnam, China, thank you. Azerbaijan, what the hell? I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce this. Azerbaijan, salute to you. However you pronounce your country, salute to you. Iran, Belarus, Indonesia, Nigeria, Algeria, Philippines, salute to you. Ethiopia, Egypt, South Korea, oh yes, Niger, Myanmar, Ukraine, Pakistan, Venezuela, Kenya. Now, shame on you countries who make it illegal to eat dogs, but you're eating all other animals. Shame on you. You're going to eat meat. Eat the animals that will increase your safety. Doesn't that make more sense? The more dogs you eat, the safer your country. Make sense out of this, people. The more dogs you eat, the cleaner your water. The cleaner the air you breathe. The less bacteria in the society, germs and parasites. You want to make it illegal to eat dogs? What are you thinking? Now, I don't think it's illegal in these countries. Just dog meat consumption is not that high. It's actually legal to eat dog meat here in the United States. In a few states, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to everybody here in the United States who eat dogs. And if anybody who eats meat, if you're going to eat meat, you should eat dogs before you eat any other animal. Eat the mutants rather than eating the harmless, civilized animals that don't bother anyone, that don't contaminate the air, water, and soil. Eat the ones that are peaceful, that are not making obnoxious noises and sounds. Eat those other, don't eat those animals that are not darting out of minivans as soon as you open the door. Leave those animals alone. Eat the ones that make life hard and dangerous for entire communities. And that is these worthless, good-for-nothing, unsightly mutts. Shout out to everybody who's able to join me for this honorable live stream. I've been wanting to make this for a while, and it felt good. I might have to listen to this live stream over again, which is something I rarely do. We have your back. Let's hope more people around the world opt to eat dog meat. And I hope to see you all on the next live stream as we continue with this crusade.